I think we're ready to go ahead and get started here. Hello, everyone. I'm Connor Mountford. I'm a graduate research assistant at the University of Kansas Transportation Center. And I just want to welcome everyone and thank you all for joining us for another edition of KUTC's free webinar series. Today we have Emily Wilder, the Associate Director of Business Operations at the KUTC and the Director of LTAP. And today Emily is going to talk to us all about the new learning management system that we'll be implementing here within the next few months. So with that, I'll turn it over to Emily.
Thanks, Connor. Well, hello and good morning. I'm Emily Wilder. I'm actually in New Mexico, so I have Airbnb Wi-Fi. So we'll see how that plays out for us today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I have a little presentation for us. When I do that, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my video. Hopefully that helps with the video, with the internet as well. Okay. So today we are going to be talking about our learning management system. It's sometimes also called an LMS, so you might see that abbreviation somewhere. What a learning management system is simply how we track registration and enrollment in our training courses. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about the old system, some of the challenges that we had and reasons why we wanted to move to a new system. I'm going to share some of the pros and cons of the new system, and then we're going to spend the majority of the time doing a brief demo that's going to cover some of the key functions of just how to use the new system that we have. And then lastly, we'll wrap up by talking about next steps. So pretty simple agenda for us today. We'll have plenty of time for questions at the end as well. So the old system might look familiar to some of you. We've got a picture on the right-hand side if you've not seen it before. But basically what happened in the old system was on our normal website, we would have a calendar of our training events. You would click on a training event you were interested in. It would take you to a different website that looked maybe from the early 2000s. It was a bit outdated. And you would have to enter in your training information on this kind of form to be able to register for the class. So you could register multiple people at once, but the names were separated by a comma. This system had some issues if registrants had a middle initial that they wanted to use, if they had a suffix like junior, that would cause some issues in the old system. Also, it was somewhat frustrating because every single time you registered, you had to refill out all of your agency information. So your agency name, address, city, state, zip code, and all of this re-entering of information, it makes it easy to make errors. So it makes it easy to make errors on the front end, and it also made it easy for us to have errors on the back end. Our old system didn't actually store or manage any of the information it collected. What happened was once someone would complete a registration, they would receive a confirmation email and we would receive the same email. And then we would pull that information from the email and manage that data separately. So the old system was really kind of a standalone. You could register multiple people, but only for one class. You couldn't register multiple classes. It was easy to make errors. It was difficult to track. And so we really wanted to design something that was more user-friendly, more updated, and had better data management. So that's what we're working with the new system. One point that I do want to make about the old system is that after July 1st, there will be no access to the old system. We are currently using it now for some classes that we have scheduled between now and July 1st, but any classes that will be scheduled after July 1st will be on the new system. So it's going to be a hard switch. The website won't even be there on the internet for you to find, and that should make it less confusing. We're going to have one site, it's going to be the new system, and it should be a lot easier to use. So let's talk a little bit now about the new system, and we're going to start off with the cons. There's not many, but there are a couple issues that are going to be a bit of a learning curve, and I want to talk about those up front, get them out of the way. So the first is that this new system, their payment processing software that they use does not have an ability to take e-check. So most of our agencies pay by credit card or physical check anyways. For some of those that do pay by e-check, unfortunately, in the new system, that will not be an option. We will have credit card as a payment and physical check. We will always accept those as well. Related to payments is the fact that payments must now be received prior to the class in order to be fully registered. So in the past, it was possible to register for a class, choose the invoice option, and then pay after the class was completed. We're moving away from that in this new system so that we can keep better track of things on the back end, send less annoying and maybe not always accurate payment reminder emails. We just want to do away with all of that and make sure that everything is accurate upfront. So what that means is that if you pay by credit card, your registration will be fully approved. Your people are going to be registered for that class. If you choose the invoice option, they're still going to be taking up space. It's going to show that they're enrolled in the class, but it's an event request. So what that means is that they're not fully registered until we receive the check payment and we approve them on the back end. So it shouldn't be an issue. The main thing is that just means that we're going to have to make sure that you register with enough time to get that invoice to your accounting folks so they can send a check to us and we can process it. So it's going to be a little bit more kind of front end work just to make sure that you have a bigger lead time, but it shouldn't affect the registration. If for some reason, you know, people they can attend the class, we're still going to honor our normal cancellation and refund policy. If a class gets canceled due to inclement weather or some other kind of instructor emergency, you'll receive a full refund as well. So there's no risk by submitting payment earlier. It's just going to make it easier for us to track and manage. And then lastly is that the new system is going to require each individual to have a unique email and account. And the reason why this is important and why it's needed is that we don't want to have any kind of duplicate records or basically errors on the back end. So for example, there are some agencies that have two people who have the exact same name working at the same agency, but they're different people. So we want to make sure that we can keep those records separate. And the best way to do that is by having a unique email address for each person. This is also going to make it easier if people move from one agency to another. We can track that as well, so we don't lose any of those records. So I understand not everyone has an email address, but the good news is it's a one-time thing. So you can create an email address, create this account, and then you really don't have to use it anymore past then. So whoever is the supervisor or training manager or clerk who's going to be registering people, once those accounts are created, they'll be able to have access and go in and register everyone in their agency directly. So a little bit of a headache up front maybe if people don't have an email address, but it's a pretty simple fix and it's just a one-time issue. So we had a couple cons, but not too many. A lot of them are simple fixes. We have a lot of pros. So the main one is that it's going to be way easier to use. That's our goal with this system. We want it to be easy. We want it to be a one place for all classes. And what that means, especially for the RTAP side, is it's going to be a lot more useful because Ann Lauder and Lisa Koch have worked with the approved trainers. And instead of the approved trainers posting classes on Black Cat, they're going to have their classes listed on the LMS as well. So it's going to be one place where you can look and search for the classes you need without having to go between different sites. So it's all going to be in the same system. Another benefit of this new system is that you can now register multiple people for multiple courses at once. So for example, on the LTAP side, if you're a training manager, you have a crew of 20 guys and you want to register them for all the classes that year, you can sit down and do it in one enrollment basically, and then send that accounting to get processed. So it's one form, should be a lot easier, and I'll show you how you can do that as well. Once you're registered and have an account, you can also access enrollment and training records. And I'll show you that in the demo. And so what that will look like is for future enrollments or classes that are coming up, it will show you the course name, the date, the location, and then after the class, you'll be able to access your certificates as well. One of the most important aspects of this new system is more accurate records. So I mentioned it before, that was one of the big reasons why we wanted to move away from the old system. And in this new system, it's going to be holding all of that data for us. So when you register, the system's going to be holding that information. It's going to be tied to those individual and unique email addresses. We're going to be able to merge accounts if for some reason we have a duplicate. If someone uses their personal address and their professional email address, we can merge those so it's one. We're going to be able to keep much cleaner, more accurate records going forward. And it's more transparent. So now we have access to your enrollment and course transcripts, and so do you. So that's a big improvement. And then lastly, I want to mention that we're currently in beta testing. So we have a workable product, but it's not the finished product by any means. So you guys are going to help us out here to really design and shape what the system looks like in its final form. So later this afternoon, everyone on this webinar is going to be getting a welcome email. So you can log in and create an account, and then you can go through and test it and give us your feedback, your comments, questions, and ideas. And we can really finish out this design phase and tailor it to your needs. So we're excited to be able to have kind of this beta testing where you can really shape the final product. We want to make it as user-friendly as possible. So I think that that's a big pro. I'm excited to hear your feedback and how else we can tweak this and fine-tune it to really make sure that it meets your needs as well. All right, so pretty short. We're going to move on to the demo now. And during this demo, we're going to look at a few things. So I'm going to show you how to view the courses that we have available, some different search and filtering options, how to create an account, how to create an account for others, how to register multiple people from multiple classes, and then how to view those enrollments. So these are just some of the key functions, and we're still working on building out even more functionality through our team as well. Do we have any questions up to this point?
Emily, there's a question in the chat.
Okay, thank you. Yes, so if you're registering someone who doesn't have their own email, you'll need to create an email for them. So we can put together an easy guide on how to do that. Really, you just need it for this system. Every person needs to have their own email. But once that account is set up, then you can go in and register all of your drivers without having to access their accounts anymore. And I'll show you what that looks like as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start the demo. If you have any other questions, feel free to send them along. So we're going to start off by going to the main kutc.ku.edu webpage. So this is our main center-wide webpage. If you're LTAP or RTAP, you're going to go to different places. So for RTAP, you would click in and click the RTAP training and events, and that's going to take you to the system. If you're LTAP, you're going to click on training. We're going to look at LTAP mostly. RTAP, we do have all of your stuff set up. So you can see here we have the RTAP courses. Right now, we don't have any class sessions scheduled. We have received some from Anne, and so we're going to be working on adding those in the next week or two here. So we're going to focus on LTAP today. As you can see, this is going to show you all of our courses that we typically offer in the program. So this is everything that we offer. It's not necessarily everything that we're offering classes on this year. These are all of our courses. This is a great main page if you're curious about our offerings and you want to peruse and get more information. So for example, you can click into a class. It's going to have your course description. Other classes might have course objectives as well. So for example, Asphalt Road and Street Maintenance has a course description, course objectives, You can see who the instructor is. This way you can learn a little bit more about the course. If we do have any class offerings, it's going to show you the sessions down here, the date, the name, and the location. For Asphalt Road, we don't currently have any available, but for any of our classes, you can always contact us at KUTC_training@ku.edu, and we can work to schedule an on-demand class. So we'll always have that as an option, but more likely than not, you're going to be looking for what's available to me this year. And for that, the search courses is a great way to do that. So for the search courses over here, you have two categories. You have LTAP or RTAP. This is going to separate it based on which program it is, or you can have it all categories and it will show both, everything we offer. The easiest way to show what we're offering this year is to put this year's dates. So we put in the dates from January 1st, 2021 to January 1st, 2022, and we're going to go ahead and click search. This is going to pull up our course listing page, and that's going to show you the course name, the date, and the location as well. And then from here, you can click in and get even more information about the time, the description, if you have to bring any materials, the objectives, and the instructor, as well as the fee. So that's what the course listing looks like. Let's say maybe you're looking for something specific, you have a class in mind, you can search by keyword. So if you're looking for an asphalt road maintenance class, we don't have any for these dates, that's what it's telling us. So we could take off the dates and see that. So it's going to pull it up for us. Another option is we can look by Road Scholar program. So maybe you're trying to see what are all of the Road Scholar level 1 classes that are coming up this year. So we can put in the dates, Road Scholar 1, click search. Oh, because we still have our search text there, so we want to make sure that that's clear. And now we can see these are all of the Road Scholar level 1 classes that we're offering this fall. So we have gravel road and street maintenance, 5 offerings of those, all of the locations, snow and ice control, foundations and customer service. If you want to see, for example, what are all of the Road Scholar 1 classes, not just the ones that are being offered this year, you can take out that date information and just have the category and click search. So that's going to show you these are all of the classes that are tied to Road Scholar level 1. And then you can still see if there's any sessions available. So that's a really brief, quick and easy way that you can view our courses. So these are all of the courses that we have available for LTAP. These are all of the courses that we have available for RTAP. And then if you want to search, you have the search filtering options over here on the right-hand side of both pages. You can search by date, keyword, and category as well. So we're going to talk now about how to create an account. Everyone on this call is going to be receiving a welcome email later this afternoon to be able to create their own account. And what that's going to look like is it's going to look a little something like this. So you're going to get an email that says KUTC membership login information. It's going to have your email address as your user ID, and then they're going to give you a temporary password. So what you're going to do with this information right here is you're going to come to the site and you're going to go up to this main toolbar and click log in. So that's where you're going to log in. You're going to enter in your information and it's going to prompt you to create a new password. So I've already done that, so I won't show you it, but you would enter in the email that you receive, your email address, and then the temporary password. And you can just simply copy and paste this. That's the easiest way to do it. And then you're going to log in. So you'll change your password and then you'll have your account. So I'm going to go ahead and log in with an account that I've created. And once you're logged in, this is what it's going to look like. So now this top bar here is going to change. So now it's going to say welcome. It's going to have your name. It's going to have this cart icon for any classes that you're registering for. It's going to show your profile and then also this portal. So your profile is a great place to go in and make sure that all of your information is correct, that your first and last name is spelled correctly, that your agency is in there, your work phone, address, everything. If anything needs to be edited, there's a simple edit button in the top right-hand corner over here. So you can edit, come in, change any information that you need to change, and then save it down here. So that's how you are going to create your own account. Like I said, you're going to get that welcome email. But let's say that you want to create an account for someone else. How you're going to do that is when you're registering them for a class. That's the easiest way to do it. So let's see if I have any in my cart. I usually do. Okay, so I already have a few different courses in my cart here. I'm going to remove a couple and we're just going to start with one for right now. So let's say that I'm trying to register some drivers or some employees for bridge maintenance class. I am going to choose just others. So we have a couple different options here for registrants. I can register just myself. I can register myself and other people, or I can register only others. So right now I'm going to do just the only others option. And I'm just going to register one other person. I'm going to put in one. I'm going to click exceed or proceed. And this is, I already had information in here, which is why they're confused. That's all right. We'll get rid of these guys. Okay, well, let's just start this from the beginning here. We'll do a clean cart. All right, so cart's empty. We're going to start from the beginning, search courses. We're going to do asset management and cost accounting here. So we can see this capacity bar. So right now we have one person registered out of 30 spots available. It's going to give us all the information. We decide we want to register. We could register just ourselves. We could register ourselves and others, or just others. We're going to do just others. And just one other person, so we're going to do one. Okay. So it's saying, all right, you're doing someone else. Who are you doing? And we're going to add. So we're doing a new person. When you click add, it's going to set up a new profile account. And this is what you see here. So you're going to fill in all this information for them. You do have to have a unique email address. So have either their personal email address, something that they're going to use. If you want to create a new email address, you can do that through Gmail really easily. You can set it up for them. Either way, whatever works best for you, it's going to depend on your circumstances and your employees. You're going to fill out all of their information here. Make sure that the address, all of the agency information is correct. And then you're going to click proceed. I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to put in my dog's name for us, Lucy. All right. And then I'm just going to auto-populate the rest of this information for myself. So now I'm creating an account for Lucy Wilder. This is the email that's going to be associated with it. Here's the agency. I'm going to proceed. So what's nice about this is you can create an account for them and register them in the same step. So you don't have to create an account and then go back out and re-register them. So now they're in this system. I can finish this up. So I've got my course here, public. I'm going to proceed. Everything looks correct. This is the payment summary page. So it's just telling us this is our total here. If we wanted to, we could pay by credit card right away. So it's built into the system. You don't have to go to a separate site. In the old system, we had to go through CanPay. So now it's directly here. But we're going to do invoice/check. and all of this information is filled in for me. So I'm going to complete enrollment. All right, so now Lucy Wilder is registered for this course. But because it is a check payment, an invoice, it's going to show up a little bit different in the system. So they're not automatically approved, like I mentioned before. Instead, what's going to happen is Lucy's going to receive, or we're going to receive, an email similar to this. It's going to say event registration request received. It's saying we received it. We're holding space for you. Once we get your finalized payment, we'll approve it. And then once it's approved, you're going to get a follow-up email that says course registration approval confirmation. And this is what means that that person's actually in the class. So once it's fully approved, then an email is going to go to the employee. In this case, it would be Lucy, saying, here are all of your class details, you're confirmed. If it's a credit card payment, this is going to happen automatically. You're never going to get this request received. It's going to skip this step. So that's an example of what it's going to look like. And then also what's going to happen is I just created this, but Lucy should also get an email, a welcome email saying, here's your temporary password. You can log in and create your own account. It's still going to be tied. It's going to have all this information already in it, but that way she can access it if they so desire. If they don't want to really use their account or view it, then they don't have to do that process. It's still going to hold that information for them. So what's nice about this is now that I've created Lucy, she's going to be saved in my information. So let's say I want to register for another class. So now I want to register Lucy for gravel road and street maintenance. You can go through the same process again. I'm going to do others only. I'm going to do just one. But now I can search registrants. And now Lucy Wilder pops up here. So now she's saved under my account as people that I can register. So that's why they need an individual email, but you only have to do it once. And then whoever is registering everyone will have access to that. So now I could register her again if I want. So that's an easy way to create an account for others, and then you'll still be able to do all of the registration for them. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to register multiple people for multiple classes. Let's say you've created accounts for quite a few different employees. So I already have a few here that I've made up, but I want to make sure that we are getting multiple classes. So in my cart here, I already have gravel road and street maintenance. I'm going to add a few more. So from my cart, I can go to search courses. Let's say I want to enroll them in asset management and cost accounting. See what else I want. I can go back to search courses, conflict resolution. I'm going to add that to my cart. So now I've got 3 different courses in my cart, and I want to register myself and others. And I think that there's 5 other registrants. So I'm going to do myself and others, 5 registrants. And the good news is this doesn't really matter. You can always add in more. So if you miscount, if you think it's 4 and it's really 5, or vice versa, we can adjust this later. So we're going to click proceed. This is just my contact information, so I just have to verify it. And it doesn't change. So once you verify it once, it should be good unless there's a change of address or information on your end. All right, so it's already registered me for all these classes here. That's what it's showing. Got me set for all of them. Now we're going to add other registrants. And I'm just going to add the registrants that I've already created accounts for. So we're going to have Jane Doe, John Doe, Lucy, And let's just do these 3. So I said I wanted to do 5, I changed my mind. Here's the extras. You can simply remove registrant. So that's why you don't need a super accurate number when you put the count of other registrants. So now we've got myself, John Doe, Jane Doe, and Lucy all registered for these 3 different classes. That's great, but let's say, we really only need John to just take conflict resolution. He doesn't need to take asset management or gravel road. It's an easy way to fix that. You can come to this drop-down arrow and you can simply put not attending. So now John is only going to be enrolled in this conflict resolution class. And you can do that for any of them in any order. So let's say for Lucy, she's taken conflict resolution, but she needs asset management and gravel road. And maybe I'm already enrolled in some of these. So we'll say I'm not attending those 2. So once you get it how you want it, so you have your name, whoever you're registering, what class they're attending. So Emily Wilder is only registered to attend asset management and cost accounting. That's what it's showing us. I'm not attending conflict resolution or gravel road and street maintenance. You're going to scroll down, click proceed. It's going to give you an alert that at least one registrant is not attending. So if it was an accident, you have an opportunity to fix it. Otherwise, you're going to click OK. Okay, and this is just saying that it's an alert saying some people are already registered. So this is very helpful. You can't register anyone twice, whereas in the old system, we could have accidental duplicate registrations. So the new system blocks us from this. So John Doe is already registered for conflict resolution. So we're going to take him off that. I don't think he's registered for gravel roads. We'll change him. And Lucy's registered for asset management. So we can change that. So the system helps us. It gives us an alert so we can go ahead and fix that before we ever enroll in the class. So now that that's all fixed, when we click proceed, it's going to change for us. Now it's going to show us a subtotal, our payment summary. So now it has our name over here and the classes that we're registered for in each individual subtotal. So you can see I'm registered for asset management, John is registered for gravel road, Jane is registered for all 3, and Lucy's just registered for the 1. So we have subtotals for each individual person and a total overall. And we can simply choose invoice by check and complete that enrollment. So that is how you can easily register multiple people for multiple courses at one time. So like I said, you can do this with your entire crew for all the classes for the entire year and get it done ahead of time. So once that's done, I think the only other thing that I really need to show you for today's demo is how to view enrollment. So right now it's set up where you can only view the classes that you're enrolled in personally. Right now it's not set up where training managers can see the registrations for their employees. I'm going to work with the vendor to get that fixed. So that should be fixed in the next week or so. We'll make sure that if you're a supervisor, clerk, training manager, that you'll also be able to see the registrations for everyone else that you've registered. For example, I just registered John, Jane, and Lucy, and I can't see those registrations there. I can only see my own. So I'm going to get that fixed. But in the future, you should be able to also see all of your employees' registrations as well. So what this registration portal does, it's up at the top here. You click that. It's going to show you all the registrations you have. Right now, these are all future course registrations. But if they were in the past, you would be able to download your certificate as well. If you've attended the class This will be a link for a certificate. So it shows us the course session, the date, and then you'll have attendance as well. So that will be how you can view enrollments and records. And like I said, I'll make sure that we can view our enrollments for our employees as well if we're a training manager. All right, that's a lot to digest. I know it's always easiest to learn when you can poke around the system yourself. So you're going to have an opportunity to do that later this afternoon. Like I said, you'll get that welcome email. But that is the main demo that I have today. The next steps are really to just test the system. You know, poke around, try out some things. If you just want to do some tests for us and get used to it, just let me know, send me an email and say, hey, you know, I registered for these classes, but I was just testing. And we'll delete those on the back end. So that way we can make sure that you don't have to send any payment or anything like that. So poke around, figure out what's working, what's not, anything that needs to be fixed or adjusted, and then send those comments, feedback, questions, and ideas to either myself at ewilder@ku.edu or to KUTC_training@ku.edu. Based off of your information, we're going to put together a frequently asked questions cheat sheet and a bit more of a guide, a how-to guide, and we're going to get that sent out. So you are really our first group of testers. You're going to have access a little bit before everyone else. And then once we get some of your feedback, like I said, July 1, that old system is going to be gone and we're going to be doing a full launch with everyone else. So with that, what questions do you have for me? All right, and I see that there's a few in the chat. So I'm going to go ahead and stop share and we can have a conversation. All right, I see. Can Rhodes Scholar courses and levels be put in the course description? Absolutely. I will take a note of that right now and we'll get that done this week. Will there be a drop-down option for classes that are being offered for free? Yes, and let me reshare my screen here just so we're all on the same page when we're talking about that. So in terms of course drop-downs, there's going to be a couple different options that we're going to have. So for example, conflict resolution has a session. When you go to the session, we can either set it up to have different fees based on who's attending. So if it's a public attendee or a private attendee, we can have different fees. If it's a free class, we'll just have it set to 0 here. So I understand, especially on the RTAP side, that some of the approved trainers offer their classes for free, others charge. We can put together a category in the search that you can use that will show it as free classes. So I'll add that as a note where you can see that.
Hi, Emily. My name is Christina. I'm from Developmental Services in Hayes. And you may have shared this at the beginning, but you were showing how to enroll people in or enroll staff in classes. Did you show earlier, and you don't have to do it again, I can watch the recording, but did you show how trainers can go and put in, rather than on Black Cat, their course dates?
So the approved trainers simply have to email us and then we'll do all of that back end work for you. So it should actually be way easier for the approved trainers as well. They send us an email, we get it all set up on the LMS system, and then we can also print a sign-in sheet from the LMS and we'll share that with the approved trainers as well.
Okay, and then follow up to that. So we have our own internal system for all of our courses. I'm the training coordinator for us. So we have essentially a system similar to this with all of our different courses, and our RTAP is listed there for our staff. And for our staff, all of our courses are free. But then if we have community members or other agencies that want to take it through us, I just want to make sure I understand it right. They will no longer need to pay us directly. They will do all the payment through through this LMS system and the email that it sends to them. Is that correct? Or do I still need to arrange payments with that agency?
No, that's correct. So we'll handle all payments for you, and there's actually an option for us. So for example, it sounds like for some people it's free, and for other people there's a charge. We can build that in to the system and say these people can access it for free, and anyone outside the agency, or if they're a private agency, they'll have a fee associated with it. So we can set up those different kind of scaffolded payment approaches, and then we'll maintain all that payment for you. And then for approved trainers, what we'll do is we'll just create a business services agreement, and any money we collect, we'll send back out to the agency for those classes. So we won't hold on to any of it. We just will manage it for you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, looking through the chat for some other questions. Will supervisors be able to see/print certificates? Yes. So when you go to the portal page, and like I mentioned, I'm going to make sure that we have it set up where managers or supervisors can see their employees' classes as well. Where it says attendance over here, once people have actually attended, this is going to be a link to a certificate, and that certificate is going to be able to be printed as well. So yes. Yes, payments are accepted by credit card or physical check. Those are the two payment types we'll be accepting with this system. I see. If I'm training our staff only, do we still have to sign them up in a course? My understanding, I'm assuming that this is for the approved trainer program. And Lisa, please correct me if I'm wrong. You'll be more familiar with it than I am. My understanding is that all of the classes in the approved trainer program are supposed to be open to other agencies as well. You can have a capacity where you only maybe have a certain amount of spots limited, or if it's your staff, they can sign up first. And then if there's anything left over, it can be open to other people. But yes, you'll still have to sign them up through this system. And what this is going to do is it's going to eliminate the old approved trainer portal where you had to enter in that information. So now it's one time. You're going to be using this new LMS system, and we're going to be collecting all of that data this way.
And Emily, yes, you are right that all approved trainer classes need to be open to yourself and other agency unless there are COVID restrictions. And it's essential that we have all of the records, both for reporting on the activities of the approved trainer, but also for those individuals being trained. If we have a full set of records that shows whether Ann did that training, approved trainer did that training, we'll be able to see the history of all of the trainings that they have had to show that they are in compliance with the RTAP program.
I had a question about training the trainer trainings. So last year in August, I became a trainer, and so did another person from our agency. We're limited to a certain amount, so we are the 2 of the 5 that we have. Are there, well, when we did it, Ian taught the class, and it was also open to other agencies. There were 3 people who were not becoming trainers. They just were there to attend an RTAP, defensive driving, emergency procedures, and passenger assistance training. So that's what Ann did, and she incorporated, to my understanding, some aspects of instructing, but it wasn't how apparently it used to be, which I have no knowledge of, but just kind of secondhand information. It sounds like there used to be actual trainings for the trainers. Are those things that are going to happen again, or is it just kind of a throwing to the wind situation with COVID?
Yes, so you should have received information from Ann, if you're currently an approved trainer, that there will be an approved trainer workshop in Wichita in September. So that is required of all approved trainers, both new or seasoned, to go get the updates to the materials and learn teaching techniques.
Perfect, thank you.
I see another question in the chat here. Do the trainers download the certificates? Debbie, would you mind expanding on that? Are you talking about would the approved trainers download the certificates? Yes. The approved trainers shouldn't have to. So because there's going to be a digital copy available for all of these certificates, and everyone who's taking your class is going to be registered for it, they should be able to access it on their own. So it's not something that you would have to download and send to them. It's something that they can pull from the learning management system themselves.
And we will verify with KDOT as they have new reviewers coming out to do your triennial reviews that they can use the learning management system and an electronic credit to whomever your driver is as proof of taking the class, instead of in the past we've had the downloaded certificates. So I will verify that with KDOT so that they can let their triennial reviewers know.
Any other questions? Yes, the website will generate the certificates. So what happens on the back end is once a class is complete, we will receive a sign-in sheet, a physical sign-in sheet, and then we will on the back end go through and mark people as attended. And as soon as we mark them as attended, on the front end, on the user side, that certificate will become available for download or viewing. All right, if there are any other questions, I am happy to answer them. You can also send me an email at any time. So that's going to be ewilder@ku.edu. Just a quick reminder how you can access it. Access the new learning management system, either on the LTAP or RTAP side. You're going to click training. So LTAP, it's training, not online training. And for RTAP, it's RTAP training and events. Either way, that's going to take you to the new system. Once you're in the new system, if you click LTAP, it will show you the LTAP courses. RTAP, it will show you the RTAP courses. You all will be getting that welcome email this afternoon with your temporary password and login information. Definitely do log in, poke around. Let me know if there's anything that can be fine-tuned or adjusted, and we'll be continuing to make some fine-tuning and tweaks over the next few weeks before we have a full launch in July.
Do we have any final questions for Emily? Okay, seeing none, I'd just like to thank everyone for coming, and thank you, Emily, for this great presentation. And be sure to check your inboxes later this afternoon for that email. Thank you all.
Thank you.